to my channel. My name is Arisa and this is Arisa Resin Art. And today I am pouring these two lovely trays I got on Temu a while ago, maybe earlier this year, not too long ago. I don't know if they're there. I can't shop on Temu anymore, unfortunately, but whatever. I am going to pour these in an ocean theme because they're both kind of water wibbly. There's a little bit of resin in this one. I'm going to get out here. Not that it will matter that much. That's going to be my shoreline. But let's get out what we can. So I've mixed up 400 mils of resin. And I think I'm going to, I was initially going to pour a clear layer and then backfill, let that set up a bit, and then put my additions on top of that, my shore add-ins on top of it. But it's not, I don't think it's going to work because these are so high. You're going to have such a deep section where you won't have sand like at the surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my resin here, 200 mils or so each. Eventually I'm going to start small because I don't want to overfill these cups and then not be able to stir. So let's do that. Then I'm going to put in a little sand, a little beautiful things. I'm gonna have a white sand beach and a black sand beach. So I've got I'll do the black sand first, and I think I wanna do the white sand on this one. This one's a little more standard or linear, and this one's a little more torrential. Like there's lots of different dips and dives in this mold. So, this not okay. Let's get rid of that one. So I'm gonna put some sand in here to start. I don't know if I've opened this one yet. I've not. Got my blade here. And I'm gonna actually just open a section for pouring, I think. So I don't have to have a big mess. And this is a chunky sand. It's not a super fine sand. So I'm just gonna throw some in there. And really get it wet, or get a lot of sand in there, because ultimately I want the shore to be, I don't want there to be a lot of clear resin behind the shore. Not that it will matter too much, but I just don't want it to be like that. So put some more in there, but I'm also gonna add in a little bit of the Tuxedo Mother of Pearl to this one. And actually I think I'm gonna add that onto the thing first, just so it doesn't get overwhelmed by the sand or swallowed up by the sand. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of resin in this little cup here and then wet my Tuxedo. And I did put a little bit of crust crystal into this resin, like a tiny bit. So I'm gonna do that. And I use this, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna wet this and then stir it in, and let's just place some on the canvas just so it hits first. Making sure it's all nice and saturated. And it's not gonna be all over because I don't want this to be a mother of pearl beach. I just want little bits in different places. And because there's so many different crevices in here, I'm hoping that they stay well and don't just all fall to the bottom here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I still want more sand in here because it's still too wet for me. So let's see what that gets me. And I think I will add a little bit of silvery sparkle to this. So just a touch of the silver glitter, just so it sparkles just a little bit more. So I'm gonna grab my Recollection silver over here. Without dropping everything. So this is just my Recollections silver. Oh, it's kind of silver. It's more iridescent. I kind of want just silver. So I'm gonna go to my Arteza glitters, if I can find those really fast. And I'm gonna see if they have just a silver one. Goes down. So it's this 54 pack of glitter. So they must have just a silver one in here. That one's not. Okay. This one's kind of gunmetal-y. It's dark silver, so that's really pretty. I think it'll go well with the dark. It is not open yet. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in there. Just like that to start. Let's see what I get here. And I can still sprinkle a little bit of that onto the surface of the mold also. Maybe I'll do that. Let me open this sprinkle side and just do a little bit on the surface so it really will come through. There we go. Not too much, but just like that. And then I don't want to put too much more sand, but I think I'm going to kind of spoon this. Hopefully not making all my mother of pearl drop or displacing all of my mother of pearl. There we go. And then I'm going to put these in my dehydrator to help them set up faster before I come and do the second part of this. There we go. I don't mind leaving a few empty little spaces so like blue water can go through maybe. Let's do that. If they fill in, they fill in. But let's see what we can get if we don't have them fill in. Just want to use it all. So I'll go up there, add a couple little drops here, just for like structures. Because, you know, there's stuff in the ocean. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be done with that. And then for this one, I'm going to go white sand. And did I bring in mother of pearl? I didn't. That's okay. I won't do that. Let me throw in just the rest of this so I don't waste. Maybe I'll put a little bit here. And that way you have some blue sticking through, but you'll also have that pearl in there. Like that. Alrighty, that's good enough. As I keep on going. I also have some, I'm pouring more of the frogs. I had a market this weekend and the frogs that I made with the faces in it and the little frogs in it, they sold really quickly. And every time, it's not the first time I've brought frogs with things in them and they sell so well. So I'm definitely going to make sure I make more of those. I feel like this is too high and it's over the mold. So I'm going to pound that down a bit. There we go. So here is my white sand, also not open. All right, pour that in there. And here I will put the iridescent silver. Because why not? And for this one, I want to have some starfish. So I will do the same process as I did with the mother of pearl with the starfish, where I put them in the resin first, just so the resin attaches to these and will flow under it. Because if you don't, you can run the risk of having a big hole on these molds where resin couldn't get under your additions. So for their starfish, I'm just gonna kind of take it. I'm not gonna dump them because they're fragile. So I'm just gonna take some of the wet resin here and just wet them and then put them down on the surface. So the resin will flow through and under these as it moves. Get a little bigger one. Like this one. So there's another little starfish. I'm gonna wet the whole thing with resin before putting it down on the surface of the mold. And then maybe one more mid-size one here. Let me just use my resin finger to pick it up. That seems easier. There we go. And I'll put this one over on this side. Oh, there's a little piece of black sand in there. So I'm gonna take that out. All right, let me get this. Ooh, I almost threw that in the resin. That is not what I would have meant to do. Let me get my hand cleaned off. And then I'll get that black sand out. I'm gonna use my finger since it's sticky to get that. Okay, so for my sand, I'm gonna grab the iridescent silver and put some in, but then also put a little bit on my canvas like I did with the other. Can't really sprinkle this one so well. I don't have a little bottle of it. So I'm just gonna do like that. Stuff it. I'm trying not to get too much because, you know, once it's on my mold, it's not gonna come off. There we go. That's good. And then I will maybe put a little bit more of the crushed crystal in this one too. Or, you know, maybe I'll do some of the silver glass. Let's do some of that. I probably should have put, no, I don't have black glass. If I had black glass, I would have put it in there, but I don't have it. And I want this to be cohesive. There we go. And this may move and like gather into one area. I'm gonna try to pour it so it doesn't. Hopefully not, but we'll see. So let me get this stirred in here. And I want to keep it minimal. So I have other things I can put in, but I'm just not, I don't want to. I don't think I want any seashells. I brought my shells in, but I don't want them. So I'm just gonna start pouring this down. Maybe I'll give this one a little spritz since this resin is a little bit drier with the sand. So I don't get any bubbles around these sides here. Oh, I'm nervous about those those stars, the starfish. We'll see, won't we? What can you do? And if I do get a little bubbles, I can fill them in with UV resin on the top of this. Maybe I'll allow a little bit more of the blue space in this one. I really like having that. It's like tide pools. So I'll try to allow more of the blue water that I put on top of it to come through on these. Yeah. So just kind of like that. All right, so I'm gonna get away. I'm gonna throw these in my dehydrator for just 30 minutes. And then I'll come back and I'll be ready to pour the next layer. All right, I will be back. All right, so I have a little bit of drainage here that I don't want. And so what I'm doing, because this was thick enough to where this is more solid, I can touch it without getting resin on my hand, which I would typically not touch the resin. But right here, that's a little too thick for me. So all I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to, it's really taboo all the time. Let me get some gloves on. That you don't want to touch curing mold or you don't want to dislodge your mold, your resin from your mold when you're pouring in two parts, because then the resin will go under the mold, right? This time, I kind of want the new resin to go under this mold. So I'm going to actually cut this off a bit with just some scissors, because this is solid enough for me to cut this without dislodging it from the black sand part. Like that. This part still is too sticky for me to clean it out. So I'm gonna actually leave it in, but I'll take a stick of some sort and I'll separate it and make it super thin here, and then re-cure this so I can just kind of peel this out without affecting this, if that makes sense. So same here, it over poured here. I don't want it there, so I'm just gonna thin this part out and then put this back in my dehydrator. That way, when I come back to it, I can peel this part away from my sand without dislodging my sand. Oh, actually, I just got it to pull itself away. So here, I'll do the same thing. Let me turn this so I can see it. And clean the tip of this off. So this is a little, oh, it's not too thick. So I'm just gonna dislodge this part from the mold. It's that like almost to the point of being workable to like do a resin bowl, but not quite there. And I'm just gonna cut this more at an angle this time so it sits a little flatter without cutting your mold. There we go. And so now, oh, this actually will work better. It's sticky. I'm just gonna pull this away like that, and it'll create not a blunt edge like that. This, I think, is hard enough for me to pull it out. Still a little flexible, obviously. This part, I don't mind. Well, I don't know if I mind it. So I'm gonna actually get this part up too. Just kind of using this stick to prod it a little bit. And then I'm still gonna re-cure this because by the time all this is super cured, I'll be able to just pull these parts off with tape because they'll be cured fully. So this has to cure a little more for me to pull it off. This has to cure a little more for me to pull off. And this has to cure a little more for me to pull it off. Gloves, important. So I'm gonna put them back in my dehydrator for another half an hour. And then we'll see what we get. Maybe I will yank this this one's just gel. So it's not going to give me the edge like that. And so with this one specifically, when I go to pour the blue, I'm gonna lift this like that and let the resin underneath that, if that makes sense. That way I won't have that blunt edge as much. So I'm gonna get this off my hands. This is kind of fun. It's all squishy. It's really squishy. And I will be back for the next part. And when I come back, I'll have my resin mixed up. Hold on a minute. Okay, I am back. I was choosing some colors. As you can see, I haven't picked off that resin yet. I'm gonna do that with you. This is nice and cured. So there are little bits of resin kind of just everywhere. And so I'm just gonna use these little forceps here to pick off those pieces here. That all will come out. There is fine. There's a little piece here. I'm gonna come out with it, kind of just yank it off. And the resin may flow under that, but that's okay. I don't see too much of anything else here. So here, I'm gonna get it started without piercing my mold and use my hand just because that one was a little more connected. This one starts off of the mold because I dragged it off. And I think that's all the little bits on this mold. So now all this is clean and clear because this one I'm gonna pour in clear and then powder the back after it's done and then pour with a final dark blue layer. This one, I think I want to paint, I know I want to paint the mold, sorry. I'm going to paint the mold. I'm not gonna worry too much. If I'm pouring in clear, these little drags and stuff, it won't be a big problem. The only reason I took them off is because if you notice, they're a little smoky because there's a little black that ran through there. And I didn't want that to become a problem in my clear because I want it clear. But I'm not going to get any micas in here, so I'm gonna cover it up. Let me grab a little sticky from my work here and cover this one up while I do color on this one. And so for this one, I needed to have the resin off because the color won't stick because it's so cured. But I'm gonna do a mixture of colors and chrome powders on this one. Colors being the Let's Resin Chameleon Flakes in the blue, the green, or sorry, the blue, the lime, was this one the lime, yeah. And then the violet, lime blue, lime blue and lime. Then I'm gonna use this chrome powder here also. And so in order to get these through, I'm gonna try to keep the blue closer, the darker blue closer to the top. And I'm just gonna let it kind of pull like it wants to do anyway. And that should be enough. You see how it's pulling itself. It's so crazy. I just touch it and it's pulling. All right, that's enough of that, right? The lime, I'm gonna go right beneath it. Oh, this one may be resin shut. What in the world? There, whew, it was. So kind of intermixed a little bit, but not so much. Let it pull. There we go. And then I'll do the lime blue in the lighter color, chameleon flakes. These don't pull quite as much. They pull, as you can see, but not quite as much as the others. So I'm gonna get those through, get that in there. There we go. And the way that I combine flakes with powders, because those chrome powders are just that, they're powders. So it's not going to, if I were to just go and take a brush and brush all this down, the powders would have nowhere to stick. So what I'm going to do is get a fluffy little makeup brush here. There's the one I want. Like, always clean your brushes off on your clothes or your switching sponge, whatever you have. So fluffy brush, and I'm gonna tamp them down a little bit in place before I spread them. Like that. And then I can get my chrome powders and kind of dust those through, because then it'll stick to where the flakes are not. And again, I don't need to cover the whole thing. That's enough. It will spread. So I have this turquoise color and this darker blue color. This one's got a lot more in it, so I don't want to risk it. So just like that. And these are super fine also, so it's hard to get them to come off of your stick. Get a little dark blue over here. And then only after I have it all like that, then I do take my brush and just kind of burnish everything in at the same time. And that's the best way I've found to blend any kind of colorants. And so you can see where the flakes have been, the mica won't stick. Where the mica is, the flakes won't stick. These spots that are missing in the sand, I'm gonna put them there too. Get it all burnished on the sides of your piece. So you see why it's so important to cover up your piece? See, I think that looks amazing. There we go. And so I'm going over this just because where the sand is not, I want to make sure when I put a darker color on top of this that it doesn't just show through that darker color. I want the color of this in there. There. So I can see I have a piece of resin stuck right there because it didn't, the flakes didn't adhere to the silicone. So I know I have resin right there. So just move it off and then you can stick it. I'm gonna go around this edge too, just so I have some color all around this piece. All right. Okay, I know there's a couple little spots there, but they seem to be covered. So much. All right, I have not yet mixed my resin because I didn't want to let it sit too long. Sorry, I'm just putting my chrome powders away and my flakes away. So now I'm gonna mix my resin, I'm gonna get it debubbled, and then I will be back to pour. One moment, please. All right, I am done mixing my resin. I haven't yet put it in the debubbler, but I wanted to mix my color in with you. So I'm gonna use the Arisa Sapphire Blue And I think I'm gonna mix a couple of them. I'm just going through right now because that's how prepared I am. I'm gonna use the sapphire blue. Let me grab something to mix it in. Oh, I have my picture here. Silly girl. Let me get here. Alrighty. There's too many things I want to do. So I have projects everywhere. It's kind of crazy. I have this resin chameleon paste that I found on, what's its face? Temu. But actually, I'm going to use a different chameleon or paste that I made. This is a paste made by the something obsidian by eeking. Let me look here. Nope, this is the opulent tanzanite by eeking. So this is a paste that I made by them, just using a little bit of either part B or part A. I'm not good at resin paste. I wanted to try it, but I have it now. This is that. And so I have to use it because I can't waste it, y'all. This opulent tanzanite is so, so pretty. So I'm gonna mix this up and use this, and that's when I'm gonna pour this colored one in. Let me move this a little bit so you can see me mixing. So I wanna mix this up really well just to make sure all the mica in it is wet. There we go. So I've got my resin. I poured 48 ounces because I have another project that I'm gonna do. But I'm just gonna pour just a little bit in here right now. I'm gonna pour 600 ounces, 600 milliliters in here, I think. Now that I've put this in there, I can't put it back in my paste. So I'm gonna get another thing and put my paste in. And I'm not great at paste, so it's not super concentrated. So I'm gonna put a lot of it. Like that for now. And a little more. There we go. And get that stirred in completely. And then I'll put more resin on top of this because I don't want that paste to not be stirred in. And because that is a recipe for sticky resin disaster. I think that's well stirred. I just didn't want to do just black behind there, and the darker pigment will work too. So I'm gonna go up to 600 milliliters, I said. Each one of these molds take about 700 mils. So I'm just gonna give myself a little extra. Like that. And I'll get that stirred in and see what we have. Look how beautiful that color is. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna order more right now. In fact, sorry, I have to order more right now because I'm almost out. And I will forget. And it's gonna bother me so much if I run out and then it's not available. So one moment. There we go. It was not eye candy, it's Mayspring. I'm sorry. I'm ordering it right now because it's just too beautiful and I don't want to run out. It's just the most beautiful color. And I'm happy when I'm looking at it. All right, order made. It'll be here on Wednesday. Sorry guys, it was very important because this color is just so pretty. Oh, look at that. And it is just opaque enough. It's not entirely opaque, but it is opaque enough for me. So I'm gonna put this away. And my eye candy one. When I'm cleaning, a lot of people use baby wipes. I find that no matter what, baby wipes always are linty to me. So this is what I'm gonna use my empty buckets to show you. I use these Handy Jack wipes. They're skin safe, surface safe, and the beautiful thing about these, let me grab one for you, is they have two surfaces. So they have this nice smooth surface and a little rougher surface, and they're big size. They clean up resin They clean your hands. If you get sticky resin on you, they clean it off. I love these. So this is done. I'm going to demold all of this. Or, I'm sorry, I'm going to degas all of this. In here, I have 24 ounces left. Let me grab another little bowl here. And I'm going to pour, this is another, these things are also things they would throw away at the OR. They weren't used. They were not used at all. So I'm not throwing them away. And those things clean out a resin so well. And this one is marked. So I want about 600 mils in here too. So there's a 600 mil mark there that I can see. And so I can put it up to that. Right around there. And to this one, I'm gonna add just the smallest bit of crushed crystal. I'm not gonna I can't do crushed crystal and everything just because it's in everything. So I don't wanna do that. But I do want just a touch of sparkle in here. So literally just that. That's all I'm adding. I want you to be able to think you missed it if you don't look closely enough. And so I'm gonna get that stirred in, and then I'm gonna put these through my vacuum chamber, and then I will be back. Okay, all right, it's been a minute because I had to do them separately because they didn't both fit in my vacuum chamber, but I got a couple of projects started on the way, so I'm excited about that. I am going to, they're all debubbled. Let me torch this really quickly. There's some they're micro bubbles on it, like that. And I just sprayed the other one with alcohol, so I won't torch that, you know, fire. And I'm gonna get this poured. I'm gonna start around the edges just because I wanna see it not develop bubbles. So I'm gonna go slowly around the edges so it fills it up ever so slowly and gently. And then I'll pour in the center. And this should cure tonight within a few hours, a couple of hours. I probably will come back tomorrow and finish it because it's 6:15 and I have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do my thing. So I don't want to be up that late. All right, almost to the edge of this. And then I can just go ahead and pour it. There we go. I'm gonna make sure it fills in these little spots here that are the empty spots in the sand. And then just kind of pour around the edges again, just not making sure I don't have any bubbles. And I'm glad I remembered to brush this backside with the resin or with the color. It would have been a little irksome had I not. There was a little part there that was slightly lifted right here. So I'm just gonna manipulate it a little bit just to make sure this goes under it like that. There we go. I could feel it coming up. And so that should be good. Let it fill up all those crevices. All right. Oh, this color is so pretty. I will never run out of this color. I hope they never stop making it. There we go. This was a perfect amount. Yay, just about 600. Excellent. It is slightly domed on this side and not that side. That just tells me that my table is not quite leveled, but that's okay. I'm gonna let it be for now. Who am I kidding? No, I'm not. I'm gonna grab the wedge here and just lift one side up very slightly. But let me uncover this now that everything is good. I got my swatches here for another project. So I'm gonna lift this up very slightly. And that way it's a little more even, I can see, and I can give her the rest of this resin into here. 600 was perfect for this one. I'm hoping it was okay for the other one. But if it's not okay for the other one, at least I was just pouring it in clear, right? Haha, lucky. Get all this in there because it will fit. There we go. I love that I can get these pictures from work. They each hold a liter of fluid, so I can make a nice amount of resin in them. Same with the bowl, it holds a liter of fluid. There we go. That one is nice and domed. I will watch for those bubbles to come up. All right, so now let's pour this one. We shall see if it's leveled. Just get that little piece off. So this one, I'm actually not going to fill up because I need to put a back coat on here once I put my micas on it. I can spray this one since it's not colored in any way. Oh, and this is where I wanted it to go kind of under this, but I'm gonna let it be right now because I forgot I'm not putting any color in it, so it's not gonna be a big deal. I just saw it though, it did go underneath, and I can see if there are bubbles in this one because it's clear, and that's lovely. There we go. I'm bringing it around these little parts here. There we go. So I don't know if that is just a crease here. Yeah, that's just the part of the mold. Okay, because it's just reflecting the light differently. So I couldn't tell if there was something missing there or not. Or like a bubble. All right. Again, not filling this up all the way. I think I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna watch these for bubbles. I have a few projects I'm gonna do, one of which I'm super excited for because if you've seen Michelle from Glitz and Glitter, I got that double 3D butterfly and I've brushed mine with mica. So this is with the chameleon flake. Let me move that to this side of this. And then the other one, I brushed it with 2 colors of the Tiny Turner pigments. So I am excited to see how these come out. I don't need that much, but I do need it black. So I'm gonna give myself a little cup, make some black, straight black. That way, if I don't have enough, I can just make some more. I'm gonna use the resin that I didn't degas, just because it's not degassed and it's okay, because I'm gonna put black in there. So let me grab my pigment paste, just a cheapo one, I think. I don't know, I got it on Amazon. And put a couple of little drops in there. Get this stirred up and mixed, and then pour those 2 butterflies. I can't remember, Michelle does say what they each take, but I just don't remember. There we go. I need much more than that. I do know that. Let me see something here. I swear, I feel like somebody in my house may have turned my air conditioner off. And it may have been me because it's hot in here. I'm just gonna turn that on because yo, it's hot. And it's getting to the point where I am going to go to bed, so I'm cooling my house down for that purpose. Okay, let's pour a little more and I'll get these 2 poured. And then I have these tiny skull molds that I'm gonna pour because I'm gonna put some skulls and skeletal body parts in resin. I have some more frogs that I'm gonna pour, or in a frog, those skulls in a frog. And I'm gonna put more frogs in a frog. And I have some faces that I've done. So these molds are so wonderfully flexible that I'm gonna go all the way like this and open it up to be able to pour the first part of this butterfly to make sure I don't get any bubbles. So I can open it up wide and pour it before I squeeze it around. Open it up. Make sure it all gets filled with resin, all the parts. So you do not get a bubble in its wings. Same with the upper layer of wings. You can see it, which is nice. So hopefully I will not get any bubbles. And then I'm gonna take a blunt object and just kind of poke at the very tip of each wing without scraping, because I don't want to move my mica, but you just poke at the very tip, and this creates a moisture highway essentially. I have nothing in this other top layer, so I'm going to put some in there first. Uh-oh, about to spill this resin. All right, so doing the same thing, opening it up wide, poking right directly at the tip of the wing to make sure there is resin moisture there so it knows where it can go and has no problem getting there. And this is, again, not scraping because I don't want to disrupt all my color. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna put that one here and fill it up. I can't remember where Michelle says that you should stop. So I'm gonna just kind of intuitively stop, hopefully not to a point of making me have to trim too much. I'm gonna let that settle. Start on this one. Put a little one in and do my squishing. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pour some skulls and then I will be back. This will be ready for demold, but I will be back to do a quick sped up. I'm gonna put my colors on this one and then I will be back to show you guys the demold tomorrow morning. Talk to you soon. Okay, so this is done enough for me to brush. Now, technically, this part up here is done enough for me to brush. The bottom part is not so done, but I don't want to lose the opportunity here because I'm worried about what's going on down here. So I'm gonna brush it. Now, the colors I have chosen are a mystery because I haven't chosen them yet. So let's choose some colors. I definitely am gonna use my Tiny Turner pigments and my Mateo colors. So I've got my dark blue, or my Nether by Tiny Turner. I'm gonna use my, what is it called here? Where's the other blue? My Nether and my Eclipse, certainly, by the Tiny Turner. Let me find it in here. Where are you at? There you go. And then I'm gonna use my Emerald Cat. So those are the three colors I'm gonna use. Let me grab a brush here. I want a fluffy brush, but I think I'm gonna start with a smaller brush. I want a big fluffy brush, but I'm gonna start with this smaller fluffy brush. In fact, I think I'm gonna start with an even smaller fluffy brush. Sorry, just digging in my brushes. There's the one I want. All right, I want that. So I'm gonna start with my Nether up top. Ooh, just dropping it a bit here and there. Not brushing it in all the way yet. So kind of like I did the other one. They go far, so you don't need a lot. Whatever's on your hand, however, they're expensive. Don't waste. And then I'm gonna go with my Eclipse. When I brought my hand down, I cleaned my brush off on my shirt, just so you guys know. So I'm not doing dirty brushes in clean micas. I'm changing it each time. Get some up there. Ooh, that's too much. And then, lastly, my Emerald Cat. Right? This is my Emerald Cat, yeah. And I'm just gonna put this a little bit of everywhere. I am gonna go back into my Nether and put a little more of the dark blue in there. No, I'm gonna use my Northern Lights, a different blue. No, I want some dark blue. So I'm gonna do a little more of the dark blue and then my Northern Lights too. But I want dark blue down here too. And now my Mateo Northern Lights. I absolutely love having this swatch. If you're new to me, I have this black chalkboard paper that I swatched a lot of my colors on and then put a drip of UV resin in them so I can see them without the resin and then under resin. It is so helpful. Love that. And all I did to swatch that was to take my tack. I made the sections and I used my tack it over and over, put some glue down, let it dry, and then use my finger and wipe that stuff over it. So I'm gonna use this brush so I can get wide paths, I think, to go through. Now I'm gonna try to avoid this down there because you see that ain't done, but it's behind, so I'm not gonna, where is it up to? Oh, this is gonna mess my brush up. I'm gonna use my finger. I just don't wanna mess up my brush, so I'm gonna use my finger, which works just as well, but I can save my brush. And that was the hard thing, because really, if I would have given this any more time, this would have been too hard. And then I would have been in a situation where I had to tack it over and over on it and then glue it down, and I did not want to do that. Now, with this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Emerald Cat and I'm gonna put too much. And so by doing too much, when this starts to cure a bit more, all of it won't sink in and I can still have the opportunity to spread it. Does that make sense? Because it's just gonna be too much. So when I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna come back and spread it, and I'm gonna put the same dark blue cover on the back of this, and then I'm gonna bring you back at demold because this video is long enough. Alrighty, I'll be back. Good morning, you guys. It is early. It's 2:50 right now, and I am getting up to start my day, but I wanted to demold these first, and I know I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. So I've got my 2 little butterflies that I poured, and I've got my 2 oceans. This is the one that I poured blue. It had some overspill, as you can see, and this is the one that I brushed. So this is the one I brushed with all the micas. I don't know what I'm more excited to demold, so I think I'm gonna go with these pieces first, although I should go with these. This is the one that I brushed with micas first. So let's see what these get me. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. Can you see that? Let me see what you see. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love this mold. And then, I'm just gonna stay over here so I can see what you see. This is the one that I brushed with the chameleon flakes. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look how pretty that little butterfly is. That is gorgeous, and I didn't fill it up too much, so I have just a little lip, which I would prefer a lip than a big bump. That would be easier. That's always easier to clean up. Oh, but that's so pretty. Oh my gosh, that's a pretty mold. And the flakes definitely create, it's a matte mold, but the flakes definitely create a shinier surface than the micas, but both of them are shiny. I love that. Ooh, I like those. All right, let's get this done here. I loosened the edges of this one already. I was gonna clean it up, but I don't wanna take it all the way out to do that first because I wanna take it out on camera with you. So let's get this here. I hope I don't have any bubbles. Let me move those out of the way. There we go. Ugh. There we go. All right, ready? Oh, that's really pretty. So you do see your little starfish. I lost one almost. So there's one there, and I have a little bubble there, but that's okay. I can clean that up a little bit, but that's really pretty. I like how that looks. Ooh, and this overage like this, while it's soft like that still, I just use my scissors to cut that off. It's nice and easy. So you don't have to try to get a blade in there. And then the rest of it, I can use a deburring tool once this gets a little harder to really clean it up. So rather than like a bunch of chomps with snips, I just throw my scissors down. They accommodate that really easily. So that is one. I love those colors. So with that, I'll just take some UV resin and maybe a piece of sand or something and get that cleaned up. But that's gorgeous. Now let's do this part. This is the one where I poured in clear first and let that cure enough to brush it with micas. And I used the Pure Glossy by Teexpert, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, the Teexpert Pure Glossy to do this. So I'm hoping, oh my goodness, you guys. Oh, so you have a nice clear edge. That's really pretty. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so pretty. Oh, I definitely have a preference. I love the tuxedo in there. That's super pretty. There's no bumps, no bruises, no holes or anything. So, oh, and the edge of this one is perfect. No bubbles at all. Love that. This one's my favorite. Love this one. I love the colors in this one. This looks a little more metallic, like a piece of metal. That's just kind of a blue metal. And that one little bump, again, I will just do the trick where you put some tape on one side, like so. And then I will put a little resin in it, like that, just dripping it and cure it like that. So that's how I'll fix that side. But that's not hard to do. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. This is my favorite. I absolutely love this. Oh, these are so pretty. I'm happy with my little projects. And then for frogs, I made a bunch of heads and skulls and frogs and stuff, which are just projects. But let me know what you think of these two pieces in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I love these so much. I'll get you guys some better pictures.